So let's take a look at the Settings app. Just click on the Start button, hit Settings. Okay, and here we have the full-blown Settings app and the different categories that I talked about. Now we're going to just take some time here. I mean, obviously as we go along, when we're talking about some specific configuration process on your device, we may come back here, but I just want to run through it quickly so we see the different areas. Some of these are going to be pretty big. Now, there's a lot there. So in System, we've got Display. Okay, display is pretty easy. I'm going to change the orientation. I can change the size and text of apps. I can click on Advanced Display Settings, and that gets me, I'm still in the Settings app, but now it gets me into your resolution and color calibration and even one step further, the properties of the display adapter. Okay, so we can go back to Settings now, Notifications and Actions. Choosing different actions that are going to appear. So for instance, what this is talking about is down here. Okay? Which icons do we want to be in this location, and also which icons do we want to appear on the taskbar? Okay? So Settings, and we've got those different options. The Note, this is having to do with connecting to a workplace. So those are the actions. You can select which icons appear, and then you can make choices. Now this is the exact same thing as what we always used to do, just by right-clicking here and choosing and setting notifications. Okay? So showing app notifications, showing notifications on the lock screen. Again, I don't have a whole lot of notifications going on right now, but if somebody's got a mail program, they'll see that. If they've got Facebook, they'll see updates. Twitter, same thing, okay? So you can change the notifications that get sent. Go to Apps and Features. There we go. And this will show me the various apps that I've currently got installed. A lot of these are defaults. Okay, they were already there. Some of them I added. Got a nice sort by size, sort by name, search different drives, and then you can get to manage optional features. Okay, and so we can add a feature. These are the features that are here. If you add an additional feature, it's going to give me the list of features that are available to me in order to be able to add. Didn't really have one to add, so we'll just go back. But we can see there how we're starting to see some of the things that we do in Control Panel, and now they've worked into the Settings app. All of this stuff wasn't here in Windows 8.1, okay? The optional features and what. We've gotten several enhancements from Windows 8.1 to Windows 10, and as I said, I think that's going to continue ongoing. So you kind of always want to come in here and look around and see what is there. This is meant to be the primary app for configuring your system. The snap settings, that they're on by default. We want to adjust the size of the windows, those kinds of things. The virtual desktops, and this is what on the taskbar it shows windows that are in the virtual desktop by default. Alt-Tab is only in the virtual desktop that you're in. Tablet mode can be turned on here. Of course, it's easier to turn it on down there. But you can choose exactly what's going to happen there. Power and sleep settings for the screen. When the PC is going to go to sleep, we go into additional power settings, and that's jump me into Control Panel. Okay? Storage. This is an interesting one. Click on a drive to see what's taking up space. They could have used this years ago. This is great. You're able to click on the drive, and it's able to show you where all your space is being taken up. Okay? Temp files, other, videos, pictures, mail, OneDrive. I don't have a whole lot going on this system, only 36 gigs being used because it's brand new. But on a home system, you can see how that would be very beneficial. We can also choose where new documents are going to be saved to. Offline maps is sort of a strange area. But you can download maps of North America, and then we will basically, okay, I just want to download the map of the USA so that I don't have to be connected. That's probably more applicable on a tablet or a phone, but you're able to do that. And you can turn on metering and when to update the maps and whatnot. Default apps, what do you want to use as the default? So if you want to make a change, you just click on the browser, and I can make a change, or I can look for another app in the store that's going to handle that, and this is what, this is what shows up. If you want to search for Chrome, I don't know that they have an app. Yeah, it doesn't look like they do. That would be a desktop application, but desktop applications are going to show up in this list as well. We've got the default apps by file type, by protocol, those kinds of things. And then about, this is your actual system properties, shows me the name of the PC, where I'm joined to, current version, RAM, and all of that. And then we have the option to join Azure AD or join a domain. So that is your system options. And then we've got devices. Devices is where we find printers or scanners. Add a printer or scanner. It'll go through. These are printers and scanners that I've got on a home PC. It's going to try to make a connection and fail, but I'm signed into my Microsoft account, so it automatically brought that one up because that's one of the home systems. You got related settings down here, getting into the old devices and printers, which still exist. But any devices, any connected devices are going to be listed here. Mouse and touchpad settings, typing, autocorrect settings, autoplay defaults for removable drives. What do you want it to do? I've got Dropbox on here, so it's going to import. I just say, no, I don't want to do that. Every time I plug in a removable drive, let's just open up File Explorer, and let's do the same thing with memory cards. I don't want it automatically importing. So we can make those changes. Network and internet. Data usage shows me the data usage in the last 30 days. That is another of those options that seems a little bit more likely to be used on tablets and phones. You can see usage details, what's using all of the network, and that can jump us back to storage settings. Okay. VPN, we can add VPN connections. We also have quick links into the internet options, the Windows firewall, the network and sharing center. Dial-up is definitely a curious one. If there's something that's going to end up going goodbye from the settings app, I was really very, very surprised to actually see dial-up in here. But it's a different type of network connection. Ethernet connections, here we got change adapter options. You can click on the option there, and then we see the properties, manufacturer, the description. We got all of that information. Proxy server, if you need to set that, and then this is also where we would see Wi-Fi, okay, if we had a wireless connection. Personalization. So we've got the background, and the background is going to be a picture, or maybe we wanted a color or slideshow. We can choose the pictures that we've got. We can choose the options there. The colors. Somehow, some way I've gotten pink. So if you want to choose an accent color, you can have it automatically choose it based on your background. It's probably a better idea. Do that. The lock screen. What do you want on your lock screen? So you can choose your picture, and then you can also choose applications. So maybe I want weather apps. I want to show detailed status of my weather app, and then I want to show just some initial status of my quick status of my mail and my calendar. Okay, and that's on the lock screen. Themes, you've got theme settings you can go in. We can get more themes online. You can go crazy with that if you want. Icon settings, mouse pointer settings, and then stuff about the start menu. So it's not using start full screen by default. You can modify that. You can also choose different folders that are going to appear on the start screen. So if you want your documents, you want your pictures on the start screen, then go ahead and do that. Okay? And then those are going to show up right here. They didn't show up there before, but now you have a quick access to that. So that's all in the personalization. In the accounts area. The accounts area, you've got your account. Okay, this is my Microsoft account. We've got our profile pictures, sign-in options when you've been away. Do you want Windows to require you to sign in? And so, yeah, when it wakes up from sleep, sure, I want to change my password. I can create a PIN number if you'd like to. It's going to make me re-enter my password and then would allow me to choose a PIN number. Makes it easier to sign into Windows apps and services, especially if you're on a mobile device. We can use a picture password. So we sign in using our favorite photo. this is my account, here's my password, and then okay, I'm not typing my password correctly. So anyway, we would type in our password and then we would just choose a picture. And that picture would be used to make sure that you could get in and authenticate that individual. Bounce me back there. Okay. Work access, if you want to connect to work or school, you make a connection. It's going to ask you information, your email address, and it's going to go try to find this. This really gets into the cloud services and things. You can also join or leave domains, join or leave Azure AD. We'll get into some of that later. Family and other users. You can add other people to this PC. Assigned access is a way of adding somebody to be able to get onto the PC, but then they can only use certain applications. I added a family member. Basically, if I go in and add a family member, add a child, enter an email address, or say they don't have one, it'll set one up for them. And then it's going to allow me to go online, and it's going to allow me to manage what they can do, okay? So when he ever signs up, then I can go in and I can modify the blocked websites. I can make changes to that. Actually, I can just click on there, and I can see recent activity, see web browsing, apps and games. I can set limits for the amount of time. A lot of this stuff was previously available. Family controls were there in Windows 7, but it's just a little bit more out in the open. And then the syncing. By default, it's going to sync Windows settings with other devices. Okay, what do you want to sync? And so I'm just doing this video for business. So I'm going to turn off the themes. I don't want that theme being synchronized, but you have options to do that. Time and date settings. Region and language, speech input. This is going to change your default voice for apps, your microphone setup and everything like that. Ease of access. This is all of your stuff that makes it a little bit easier to use the PC if somebody's visually impaired or hearing impaired. So it's your sticky keys, your toggle keys, filter keys, your high contrast, the magnifier, those kinds of options. You have privacy here, okay? And in privacy, there's a ton of stuff. There are some people that are all up in arms about Windows 10 and saying that it's an invasion of privacy. And really, the more you want an operating system to do for you, the more of more invasive measures it's going to have to take. Okay? I mean, that's my opinion. It certainly doesn't have to be shared by everyone. I know it's not shared by everyone. But if I want my device to go out and find me somewhere to eat, if I want my device to be able to place an order for me, then my device has to know something about me. And so, Microsoft has assured everyone that this information is being kept secure. Some people trust that, some people don't. This whole privacy section allows you to control what you are sending, okay? So if you don't want to send Microsoft any info, turn it off. If you don't want to send advertising ID for experiences across apps, turn it off. Location settings, location history, what applications are able to access your location, okay? Windows Maps would use the location history. Let apps using your camera, and these are the apps that can use the camera. Same thing, here are the apps that can use the microphone. And so you're really going in and setting all of this up, which apps can get access to your account info. You've got contacts, calendar, messaging, radios like Bluetooth. Okay. So you have control over what is available and what is not. And then in the update and security section, we've got Windows Update. We've got Windows Defender. Okay, so this is showing me updates that are currently installed. This is where we can go to say, I want to be on the insider track for new versions. If you want to install some updates, I'll go ahead and do that. Now, going over to Windows Defender, real-time cloud-based protection. This is on by default. There is a backup capability with file history. We'll talk about that a little bit later. recovery, we have the option to reset the PC and refresh the PC. We don't have, again, your options may be a little different when you go in here. And then we've got the advanced startup options. Activation, if I want to change the product key or activate, and then you've got this area for developers, okay? So this is my backup and recovery stuff. That's the settings app. Now, mind you, that's not the only place that we can go. And when we click the start menu, you might be concerned because there's no control panel. I mean, you can just type control panel. Okay, control panel is still there. It looks largely like it looked in Windows 7 and in Windows 8. And so the stuff that you need is likely all going to be here, and it's probably all in the same place. And as we get going a little bit further, we're going to go to control panel to do a lot of things because, yeah, you can do some things in the settings app, but you can't do everything. So advanced configuration options are going to be in control panel. A quicker way to get to control panel is by right-clicking the start button. When you right-click the start button, you notice programs and features, power options, event viewer, device manager, disk management, computer management, the command prompt, and control panel. So you have access to a lot of your administrative tools. This right-click option was introduced in Windows 8.1 because everybody was so upset that there was no start menu. So they put this in here, and they've left that in this version. Of course, you can control this. You can go to the properties. The taskbar can be controlled just the same way it could be controlled before. Navigation, this is an interesting one, replacing command prompt with PowerShell on the menu that I was just on. I like to do that personally. Setting up toolbars. Okay. You also have the option of controlling Cortana here. It's showing the search box. You can just show the Cortana icon, or you can completely hide it from view. Okay. So it's really just, that's really about screen real estate. How much do you want showing up? All right, and then the task view button does not have to be shown. You can always get to that with the Windows tab key. So you do have a couple of settings options there on changing how things look. So those are some of the big ones, at least cosmetically from a user experience standpoint. Those are some of the biggest features. And in this section, we're just looking kind of at how to navigate and use Windows 10. Now, as we move forward, as I said, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's not changed. There's going to be a lot of administrative tools that are not different than Windows 7. So if you've already got some experience, then you may have a leg up in some of these areas. We're not only going to focus on the new, we need to focus on Windows 10 in its entirety. And so you have to know how to use all of those administrative tools as well as the new options that we find in the settings app and in other places. So in this introductory module, we really just wanted to look at that introduction. But moving forward, we're going to start digging in to what's underneath in the operating system.